This presentation is by Susan C., Digital Skills Development Officer for Education Scotland, and Sylvia Georgian, Aberdeenshire Languages Development Officer and Northern Alliance Languages Workstream Lead. Today we'll be looking at the use of digital tools for language learning and collaboration. Some of the aims for this workshop are as follows. We're going to be looking at equity, collaboration, pupil voice, assessment and feedback, and sustainable approaches. So, we've been using digital tools and they've been really useful for us for collaboration across Scotland nationally, within RICs, across and within local authorities, for educators, and whether that be in school, and also for our learners, and to communicate with parents and carers. In particular, Susan and I have worked together through the Northern Alliance, and as you can see from the map, the Northern Alliance covers quite a large area of land mass. Therefore, using digital tools, and in particular Teams, has really helped us communicate and share. So our partnership working, so that will be with partners outside our local authorities, for example universities, have been able to also, and Education Scotland colleagues actually, have been able to communicate with us using Teams, and we've used that very widely. We've shared resources with it. We've also used Office 365 to create tools such as French online training course, which we're at the moment trying to pilot, and we have links in WordPress using that.
Okay, to support digital learning across languages, we are really lucky across Scotland that we've got access to GLOW. Now, within the GLOW environment, we have access to industry standard tools. On the left-hand side, you'll see some of the suite of tools that are available using Microsoft Office 365, and on the right-hand side, you will see some of the tools we have access to via G Suite for Education. These tools are really useful to use in the classroom, but children will also be expected to use these tools when they leave school to go on to further education and possibly out there in the workplace. So these tools are ideal for learning, life and work.
Okay, so we thought it might be nice to actually look at how some of these tools are used within education, and in particular in school. So we have a principal teacher and teacher from Meldrum Academy who would like to share that with us.
Okay, so in our senior phase, one of the things that we've felt has the biggest impact lately is using Microsoft Teams. So it really helps for communication, and especially for catch-up. If you've got pupils off, you can set catch-up assignments really easily and attach your slides and stuff for them to work through.
I really find that if a pupil's off, they will actually get in touch and say, I'm off today, can you send me the work, which is unheard of. And also if I'm off, or the teacher's off, you can set work really easily, keep track of what they're doing.
Like at exam time, when we were invigilating the exams, we were able to keep track of what we're doing, even though they were being covered and things like that. So quite good.
Using assignments for homework, which the pupils are appreciating as well. I think it's really easy for us to set them up and really clear for the pupils to see, and I'm finding it useful to be able to just remind the pupils 2 days or so before their homework's due, or say you still haven't done this, you still haven't done that. So
I found last year that having the assignments, the conversation facility, especially around exam time, was really good. We were having to get scripts in, and we were having to get things done. And that leads on to how we use them.
So we've all got vocab and grammar and so on typed up in there. It's already typed up, which saves some time in the classroom.
Yeah.
And then the pupils can just personalise it themselves.
Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing is preparing their scripts for the talking and things like that, and you can get instant feedback as they're doing it.
Definitely.
It's really good.
Yeah.
We also have some pupil feedback on using technology in the classroom.
So I think that GLOW using Glow is really helpful for learning languages, because with Teams you can ask the teacher, like on a conversation, if you're stuck on something, and the assignments are well laid out so that you can know what you're doing for your homework. I think Language Nut and This is Language is also really helpful to use, because by completing activities and games, the stuff that you're learning, what you're studying, really sticks in your brain. And yeah, I just think it's a lot more effective. It also means you can work at your own pace, so the teacher doesn't have to wait for everyone to finish before moving on to the next exercise.
So by using digital tools across the curriculum, in particular in language learning, there are various skills that young people will develop. For example, reading skills, talking, listening, pupil engagement, retention of information, a deeper understanding of learning. All these tools can be used as a reflection tool, can support teamwork, writing skills. It also allows for creativity, students to build up their own confidence, their presentation skills, and to work in collaborative groups. Within Glow, we have access to Immersive Reader through Office 365. Immersive Reader is a phenomenal tool to support all learners, particularly pupils that are dyslexic and have problems with grammar comprehension. Here we've got a short video of how you can access Immersive Reader through your OneDrive, which is basically just your electronic filing cabinet within Glow. So we've logged into Glow and we've clicked on OneDrive. Once it opens, along the top we're just going to select New and create a new Word document, and this is using Word Online. We're now going to open up a new tab on our Internet Explorer, and we're going to search for a local French paper.
So what's really good here is you can use authentic text. So we've gone into something in Le Monde, we'll find an article. This particular one I think is on environmental change in Paris. Whatever, you can use the whole article, you can use part of the article, and you can put it into Immersive Reader and do what you need to do with it in there. So let's just see, so if we copy and paste a part of this article into Immersive Reader, we'll show you the type of things you can do with it in here.
So we've pasted the French text straight into the Word document. We've now went to View and Immersive Reader appears. You'll see straight away strip back the page to prevent any visual crowding. I can increase and decrease the text size. I can also change the font and, more importantly, the background colour. I can now highlight my nouns, verbs and adjectives and adverbs, and I can show the labels so I can see them clearly above each category. I can then go into my reading preferences and choose to translate the document or just translate an individual word, and you'll see that demonstrated just now. So I've got my French text, which I'll have read back.
La première carte offre, en un coup d'œil, une photographie en temps quasi réel de l'état de la pollution à travers un code couleur.
I can now flick to the English translation and have it read back.
The first map offers, at a glance, an aerial time photograph of the state of pollution through a very clear colour code, green.
I can then select an individual word and hear it
Colour.
in English and French.
Couleur.
You'll also see that some words have a visual representation of the word, which is really useful for our younger learners.
Pollution. La pollution.
All these tools are free to use and built into Office 365, so again, children could well have access to these tools at university and in the workplace when they leave school.
Okay, so let's go on then to have a look at some apps that you can use. Now, apps are a brilliant way of capturing pupil voice, and it's a way to actually let learners work independently on their language learning, and then be able to bring that together, and we'll look at that a bit later on. So some of the apps that we have down here are apps that you may have used before, and we'll look at a couple of them. So you've got the clips, the superhero, comic books, and so on. But let's have a look how some of these work.
So this one here is called Chatterpix, and it's a free app, and it allows the child to take a picture of anything in the classroom or online, give it a mouth, and then bring it to life by capturing their voice and making the picture speak back. So here's a little example. This girl in primary 3 is taking a picture of a rabbit, and she's going to have the rabbit speak back in French.
So that was something she did, that she created the voice for, and then put that on herself from a different piece of work. It was actually a piece of writing, I think, that she did. So that's the Chatterpix. It's good, it's very simple to use for teacher and pupil, and can really get young learners engaged in language learning.
Each video is can be up to 30 seconds in length, so if you did have a big piece of work to do, then you could join all the short videos together to create one final end product. The next one we're going to look at is Apple Clips, and it's only available on iPads, but it's a free, very, very simple movie making tool. It has built-in backgrounds and stickers and fonts, and also copyright free music that really brings the movies to life. So this example here is a girl in primary 7 reciting her French colours.
French colours: rouge, orange, verte, blanche, rose, gris, jaune, bleu, marron, noir. Au revoir.
A really nice simple tool to pull together that content knowledge, and it can also be used as a reflection tool. So if next week or the week after she forgets some of her French colours, she can go in and watch that little video again.
Another app that's very popular that you've probably seen is Sock Puppets, and Sock Puppets enables you to go in and create conversations, dialogues, and use various voices to practice some speaking in the language. This one was one that was actually on Twitter. I think it is a weather forecast. You can tell that it's been really good fun to make, and actually, considering it's from primary 6 or 7, the content is really quite sophisticated.
En Málaga hace sol y hace calor. ¿Qué tiempo hace en Madrid? En Madrid hay tormenta y está gris. ¿Qué tiempo hace en Barcelona? En Barcelona hace buen tiempo y está nublado. ¿Qué tiempo hace en Málaga? En Málaga hace sol.
You would have heard from the last video that the children's voices were actually scrubbed. So if you have any children in your classroom that maybe aren't allowed to be videoed or are a little bit shy about hearing their own voices being recorded, then that was an absolutely fantastic app that really scrubs the voices so you don't actually know who's speaking, and it's up to them how squeaky they want their voices to be.
Okay, so the next one that we're going to look at is Puppet Pals. And again, this can be used to practice conversations in any language, and it's a bit more sophisticated in that you can change backgrounds, you can choose from characters, bring characters in and out, bring characters from online, from actual photographs, depending on the version that you have. So let's have a little look at this one.
One thing that we do promote when we're out and about supporting schools with these apps, it's really important that the pupils do their homework first, that they pull together their content knowledge, they work in their cooperative groups, and they create a script or a storyboard before they start recording.
Bonjour Sophie, ça va? Bonjour, oui ça va très bien, et toi? Oui, pas mal. Je vais au cinéma ce soir. Tu veux venir? Oh oui, j'adore le cinéma. C'est quel film? C'est un film d'action. D'accord, à quelle heure? Le film commence à 8h30. Très bien, à tout à l'heure. Au revoir. Au revoir.
So the pupils have all created some fantastic examples using rich media. However, when we are out and about in schools, a lot of the time these really good pieces of work are stuck on the iPads in the classroom. So the children really need to think about their digital skills and how they get that video or animation off the iPad and ideally saved either into Glow or saved into an ebook. So this is an example of a Book Creator ebook, my French language book, and I'm just going to play it. So we can see we've got a nice front cover. The next page, it's got all about me, so we can import text and pictures and narration. And behind each one of these colours, the students recorded their own voice saying each of the colour name. And then there's our sock puppet video, and our Puppet Pal videos have been pulled into this book as well. The last page is actually a picture of a worksheet. So we're going to be talking to you about the SAMR model throughout this presentation, and it looks at what substitution level is. And substitution level would be just creating a document and then typing it up using a piece of technology. But instead, this student has taken a picture of our worksheet. She's then recorded some narration to capture her voice. She's shared it with our teacher, who's provided a video in the form of feedback for that student. During our session, we then put it over to the audience for the creative challenge. So we had some iPads and they were asked to go in and create either an ebook or a short animation using superhero comic or an animation using Chatterpix or Puppet Pals. Why don't you download some of these apps and see if you can try and create something? So like we said, all this rich media stored on either a mobile device or another piece of technology. It's vitally important that children are saving their work, saving all this rich media that they've created. It can be then used as evidence of progression. The evidence is accessible because it's in the Glow platform, and we all know we can access Glow anywhere we have an internet connection. Collates content knowledge all together in the one place, and it can be used as a reflection tool.
And I also think what's really good about that aspect of it is for a transition tool, for example, especially with language learning, where you might be unsure, in fact in any curricular area, where you're unsure who's coming up, what they're coming up with, where they are at, what level, are they at second level, you can actually transfer that between schools, between establishments, and get a really good picture of pupils' work that's been carried out.
Absolutely. And once it is in Glow, we would absolutely hope that children are logging on to Glow at home and sharing their learning and talking about their learning with their parents, which allows for parental engagement.
Okay, to me, one of the best advantages of using digital tools in the classroom is actually being able to provide assessment and to give feedback, and these tools can actually save time, and that's what we're always looking to do, isn't it? So there's a variety of tools that you can use for assessment and feedback, and they're named down the side. You may have used some of these already, but we thought it might be nice to actually have a look at one particular feedback tool called Plickers.
So if you don't have access to lots of technology in your classroom, you can use Plickers for digital feedback as long as you have access to at least one piece of technology, whether it's a laptop, a desktop, or a mobile device. So basically you create a free account through plickers.com, you type up your questions, and then you print out some Plicker cards. So the cards look a bit like a QR code, and you'll see a picture of it underneath the Plickers logo. And if you look quite closely, you'll see down the sides it's got either A, B, C or D. You could print these cards off, laminate them and use them for the whole academic year. And when you post a question to your audience, then the children would hold the card with the A at the top if they wanted to answer A, or turn it around for B at the top, or C at the top, or D at the top. The teacher would then use either the iPad or a mobile phone to scan all the QR codes, and it automatically counts them all up, and you will see it coming back in real time on your interactive smartboard or interactive panel in your classroom.
Okay, another real-time polling tool is called Mentimeter, and in the presentation we asked participants to use Mentimeter to give us some feedback on what has just gone before. What you're doing with Mentimeter is you're creating a question, and the responses can come back how you choose, either in a graph, in a pie chart, or as text. Therefore, Mentimeter will generate a code for each question, and participants can just go online to the Mentimeter, to the menti.com, put in the code, they'll be asked the question, give the response, and you will see all the responses come back in real time. So it's a really powerful feedback tool.
Okay, so we've seen lots of examples of how technology can be used to enhance modern language lessons. However, over in America, in the state of Maine, they gave a laptop to every single child, and they wondered after 1 or 2 years why attainment wasn't rising. So they got in Dr. Rubens Pontedera, who developed the SAMR model, and he really looked at how the technology was actually being used. And in many of the cases, the technology was being used at a substitution level. So that basically means it was just substituting analogue ways of delivering lessons. So instead of writing out a worksheet, they were typing up a worksheet. And you'll see the example we have here for French places in the town. Word processing, typing up a piece of writing or a list of vocabulary around the topic. So that is absolutely substitution level. Sometimes in primary schools we need to look at substitution level because children need to learn how to word process and need to learn how to type. However, we wouldn't want them to be stuck on substitution level forever. We would like to see the technology augmenting the lesson that's happening in the classroom. So for example, creating a presentation around a topic and adding pictures and hyperlinks. And that's something you can't do simply using a jotter and a pencil. So the technology has augmented the task. However, we could take that task a step further, and the children could actually create an ebook. They could then add text, pictures, hyperlinks, videos, and record their own voice, again describing the places in the town. So yes, absolutely, Book Creator has modified that simple task. We could then go a step further and take it up to redefinition level. So now the children are actually using Google Earth to virtually explore places in their town with a 3D immersive experience. They then create a storyboard and create a video where the students interview each other. They pull all this information into a book, again augmented with the pictures and text and videos, narration and hyperlinks. So that simple task where you're exploring places in the town and typing up information can be absolutely redefined by using some of the free tools that we have access to in the classroom. However, we can't sit at modification and redefinition level every single day. The children would be tired and the teachers would be tired too. So we'll absolutely only do this as and when required at the end of a lesson, end of a topic, end of a term, to pull together that content knowledge and to obviously exemplify digital literacy skills.
Okay, so that's really, we're going to finish it off pretty soon, but just like to let you know that if you would like to see, we've mentioned quite a lot of apps and tools today, and we realise that, but we've created a team. So we'd like you to go in and have a look. You will see links to everything that we've mentioned there, and also it'll be a way that we can actually start some conversations around digital technology in the classroom. Either if you could share examples of something that you've been doing, something that you've tried, you can speak to Susan or I about this. In order to get into this, what you have to do is
you log into Glow, and then you go into Teams, and once you're in Teams you will see a button that says join or create a team. Now this team is open, so all you need to do is search for it, and the name is SLF Language Seminar. There's no join required. As soon as you type that in, it will be the only one that appears. You will then see the conversation area where you can post questions, and under the Files tab you will have access to the presentation we've used just now, and you'll also have access to an Excel spreadsheet listing all the apps and resources that we've talked about during this session.
That just remains for us to say thank you. Thank you for listening, thank you for coming along. Thank you to Meldrum Academy for giving us those super videos. We actually had more videos from pupils than we knew what to do with, so that was brilliant. And if you are a tweeter, here's where you can find us on Twitter.
Thank you.